Oh, sorry. And we're really low on kerosene.
Hello and welcome to Can You Survive? We are back and here at Tribal Council, and filing in shortly will be a few new faces because for the first time, the White Caribou tribe will be coming on in. Only 5 of them are coming to this Tribal Council, so let's watch as they come on in for the very first time in Can You Survive District 13. We have Gideon, Raul, Aldrian, Aubrey, and Nick.
I can sit here. You can sit about. All right. Welcome, Caribou. Took me a while to see you all. Aubrey, let's speak about that. So you've gone from such a high of winning, I think it was 4 immunity challenges in a row, being able to kind of relax at camp for most of the day. And it's such a quick turn into now you're one of 5 people who is about to go home. So can you just speak to a little bit about that immediate tone shift?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting that it's the 5 of us, I feel like, who have competed in the most challenges all day and contributed to the wins are now being punished at Caribou's first tribal council. So that's interesting. But also, I think this is where the game is really going to begin for us. People are going to be leaving our tribe. We're going to see who's actually telling the truth to us, who is not telling the truth to us. And ultimately, somebody is going to be voted out of our tribe tonight. So the dynamic is going to shift either way.
Yeah, Raul, speak to a little bit about what Aubrey just said. So there's a lot of social dynamics at play when it comes to who is volunteering for these challenges. How much of that is weighing on, the social dynamic of your tribe right now?
We definitely went into pretty much every challenge just trying to put our best people forward. I mean, maybe a person or two was trying to skirt being in the game, but I think for the most part, our tribe had the mentality of like, let's try and keep this together. And I think that worked for 4. And we had a little bit of a kumbaya sort of mentality at camp, but when you're sitting there not really playing the game, emotions and conversations were festering. So like this will hopefully let a little bit of the air out and allow our tribe to breathe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that, Gideon. I mean, you're kind of in limbo most of the day, honestly. You can't really build that trust until you come to tribal council. So, is part of you even a little bit excited to come here and test some of those bonds that you've built?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. Uh, it feels like we're in space when we're sitting out there and we're just kind of floating around, waiting till we get that tassel line to finally get to the shuttle ship. And man, we lassoed it.
All right, maybe you landed on the moon. All right, Nick, you put this tribe together. You had the honor of winning the cornucopia last night and being able to pick kind of who was on your tribe. Did you face any kind of not repercussions but pushback on the decisions you made in terms of who you put together?
I think we might have if we lost, but we didn't until now. So no, I think everyone was pretty happy with the selection.
Okay. Aldrian, talk to me about the tribe dynamics. We've had the tribes intermingling a lot. We've had, partial members of the tribe being able to hang out with you. How much of the decision that's about to happen here is influenced by maybe the prior votes or what you're hearing from the other tribe at all?
I think it's really interesting that we get to hang out with the other tribe members that aren't up for elimination. Because at some point we're all going to be playing with each other. So it is something that you're kind of thinking in the back of your head. Like, of course, right now it's just the 5 of us, but like you're thinking of not only just the 5 of us propelling forward, but like who are we working with maybe in the future that isn't here right now. So it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. Aubrey, has it been brought up at all that a couple of you are missing a district partner at this point, and that could either potentially make you more valuable in a swap, you don't necessarily have someone to go to, or maybe less valuable in a swap, you don't have someone to bring in. Is that at all a discussion between the 5 of you, or even amongst your tribe?
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily an open discussion right now, but it's definitely in people's minds. I know me and Nick both lost a partner back to back today. It's not a secret. None of us are keeping that secret. We all are very clear. I think it could be an advantage because, when we merge, you automatically have that district partner you gain trust with and built that repertoire with in the very beginning. but it also could be a disadvantage because people whose district partners are slim, they do have that one solid person they can go back to. So it's definitely been in the back of people's minds. I don't know if they are being very honest about it at the moment just yet.
Yeah, that's very fair. Raul, the other interesting thing about this twist is there are 7 voices that you've been working with that aren't here and able to participate in this vote. So, how much of their wants and needs is kind of weighing on this, or is this a really just organic conversation between just the 5 of you?
Even though we haven't gone to tribal council, that doesn't mean that our tribe has been without conversation. So definitely there are influences from the conversations that we've had with them. But I think ultimately the decision being made today is a decision being made by the people here. And I think that's going to create a weird dichotomy with our tribe. Like there will be bloodshed here, whereas the other half of our tribe is still going to have that sort of yearning and that unknowing and this sort of like space that they're going to be like in. Whereas this group here, after this, I think is going to be a little bit more grounded. So it'll be interesting to see, even within our tribe, these differences in how we feel in the game.
Yeah, interesting. And Aldrin, do you think the decision being made here right now between the 5 of you is short-sighted in terms of, just thinking about this vote and surviving this vote, or is it building towards a longer term, thinking about the game, swaps or anything moving forward?
I think for me, it's hard to do anything without thinking even a little bit ahead. So, like, I don't think I'm going to make any votes at all in this game that is not like preparing myself for the next or preparing myself for something with my with an alliance or something that's going to propel me forward. I think I'm always going to think about the future in any vote I make.
Okay. And Gideon has, I mean, it's a really small group here. An advantage or an idol could wreak havoc in such a small group like this. Is that a conversation that the 5 of you have had at all?
I would say definitely on the surface, it's been there, but it has not really been discussed. So I think it's always kind of been on the line, but this being our first one, I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Well, unless anyone else has anything else to say, I'm ready to get to the vote. All right, let's do it. We'll start with you, Gideon.
All right, our players are going to go ahead and start voting. And while they do that silently, we are going to step away and have a little chat. So this is my time to tell you all that I've heard about what's going on with the Goddard tribe, or I'm sorry, with the Caribou tribe. I'm so used to saying Goddard because we've seen them for 4 tribal councils in a row today, but this is our very first time to get some strategic insight in what's going on in Caribou. So I am super excited to catch you guys all up and hear about, what they were thinking last night versus what they're thinking now near the end of day 2. So as soon as we get on over to our little tea time spot, we will have a little chit chat. So here we are. Let us see. All right, round 5 Caribou. So, all right, so let us go ahead and kick it off with talking about Nick. So Nick is the one that, of course, picked this tribe. He was the tribe captain last night. It feels like a year ago. This has been a long, jam-packed day. So Nick picked his tribe last night, as we got to see at the end of the Cornucopia challenge. And at the time, his top 3 were Aubrey, Kieran, and Phil. He said, those are my 3 top people, and was wary of Aubrey because his social game is because Aubrey's social game is really, really great and he's making bonds with everyone, but was like, but I still like him. I think I can work with him. It's just like a down the line. We'll see if we can take care of it or not. So today, he has now decided that he is most loyal to Aldrian, because he feels like he and Aldrian have the same approach to this game. We got a little insight onto what that approach is when Aldrian just answered in Tribal Council that she likes to think a step or 2 ahead. She likes to, you know, do things with an alliance. And so sounds like a very strategic player. And Nick also views himself as a very strategic player. He feels like he has hidden that for now by being a physical challenge threat, but that he says the players will soon find out that I'm strategic too. and I believe is entering into maybe a strategic partnership with Aldrian. He also recognizes that Francesca, who is not eligible to be voted because she's not at this tribal council, is a huge threat, and so views her as a meat shield. He also thinks he might be a meat shield, aka a big, huge, obvious threat. But if he feels a little scared and like people are clocking that he's a threat, he does have an idol to play. Speaking of idols, Aldrian decided to search for one at camp during the strategy time. So she was doing all of that. She feels really, I don't think she found anything though. She is feeling really tight with Nick as well as Gideon. Last night, going into the last challenge, she felt closest with her challenge partner, with her district pair partner, Lindsay, as well as who she calls the Home Depot boys, aka Lex and Gideon. If you were tuning in yesterday to all of the challenges, Gideon and Lex and Lindsay and Aldrin were very collaborative in their challenge time, so she feels good about that. And she's thinking that Nick and Gideon are going to work with Raul to vote Aubrey out. She also would prefer to target Francesca because she's such a big puzzle threat, but obviously that is not an option here. Let's go to Gideon now, who has loved winning all day, but is excited to play the game. As of last night, he really liked Lex, Geraldine, Cod, Kelly, and Leo, none of whom are here with him at this tribal council. And he wasn't too sure about Nick because of vibes. Don't know what that means. And he felt like Phil's mist was too strong and he was too smooth. Today, he feels really good about Phil, Kelly, and Geraldine, who are, of course, not there with him. And he is targeting Aubrey, but told Aubrey that he could write Gideon's name down to get him a coin. So he's already thinking ahead to the coin advantage situation. And Aubrey thought that that was really funny because he was like, oh yeah, I'll totally do that. But Aubrey is actually targeting Gideon. So yeah, he's thinking that he's working with Nick and Raul, and that is because Raul showed him that voluntold advantage that he played earlier and didn't show anyone else, so they established trust. And Nick says that he wants to go to the end with him. So they've both built up a lot of trust, and so he thinks that they will be targeting Gideon. And speaking of Raul, who had the voluntold advantage that Lindsay was not happy about him playing, as of last night, he really liked Sean, his district partner, and he felt that because of the proximity of the district numbers, he spoke the most to Fran, Phil, and Champagne and Nick. And today he really, really enjoys Aubrey, but does worry that the target is Aubrey. Doesn't want to tank his game to try and put out to, like, go out on a limb for anyone this early. And he really is enjoying Phil because they bonded on an emotional level. So yeah. All right, we are headed on back to tribal council now, where we will soon find out who the first person voted out of the Caribou tribe is. And I don't know if y'all heard or not, but at the very beginning of tribal council, all of the other players are super far away at camp and they were singing happy birthday to Geraldine. It's her 30th birthday today. And so they built a little fire and like had her blow it out like it was a candle. So very cute. But anyway, back to the players that are here at tribal council and back to Cam, who has the votes
Alright.
for us.
Anybody has an idol or an advantage and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. All right, let's get to the vote. First vote, Aubrey. Second vote, Gideon. Third vote, Aubrey. Fourth vote, the fifth person voted out of Can You Survive District 13, Aubrey. That's three, that's enough.
torch on.
Grab a torch hopper.
Yeah.
Aubrey.
Yep.
The tributes have spoken.
Every time.
All right. Well, you have officially got blood on your hands, but we'll see if there's any more coming later tonight. We'll have you head on over there, and we'll get to our next thing.
Over where? Go to our tribe.
All right. Players are headed back to camp,
A hand load for you. They'll tell you where to go.
and we should be going live again. Sorry, I'm trying to do something and it's a whole thing. Hello. All right. Thank you for joining us. It decided to zoom in on me and I don't know what's happening. Yikes. Anyway, all right. So I don't know if you heard, but Cam said we'll be moving on to our next thing. Very mysterious. I can't help but notice that there is a challenge being set up out here. So I'm assuming it's another challenge, but we and the players will find out at some point. If you are in the viewers lounge, we'll let you know when we are going live again. You will not want to miss anything this evening. All right, see you later.